Guys, we all know that the UK introduced the Health and Care Worker Visa to enable healthcare assistants to relocate from overseas to come and work here in the UK. But the unfortunate thing is that this visa route has been abused a lot. It has really been abused a lot, and I'm very saddened to talk about two care assistants in this video. One of them has ended his life, and another one attempted to commit suicide, all because of the health and care worker visa scandals. So this is what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Pauline Popomoyo, and this is the channel where we keep things real. I know some of these situations are very sensitive, but that's how we keep things real, guys. We need people to be aware of what is happening so that we don't have many victims. We don't want another person ending their life, neither do we want another person attempting to end their lives. So this is what happened, guys. So guys, these two male carers, I will talk about the first one who attempted to end his life. So I'm going to call the first individual Patrick. Patrick relocated to UK to come and work as a domiciliary carer. And obviously, if you are working as a domiciliary carer, you are expected to be traveling from one home to the next. And we all know that if you're a domiciliary carer, the number one requirement that they need from you is to have a driver's license. So this individual relocated to UK because they had, in quotes, they had all the requirements, they had all their TP certificates, police clearance and everything. So Patrick started working here in the UK. And in no time, working as a domiciliary carer, because the UK roads can be very confusing. Even me, when I came here, I had years of experience, but it took me time to get accustomed to the roads here in the UK. Patrick also wasn't accustomed to the roads in the UK, and in no time, he was involved in an accident. He crashed into another vehicle. Ordinarily, if you crash into another vehicle, you've got insurance. Your insurance is going to cover the vehicle that you crashed into, as well as cover your own vehicle. But when it was time to claim insurance, it was discovered that Patrick's license was fake. You understand, guys? It was discovered that his license was fake. And obviously they cannot process insurance with a fake license. So now the employer was demanding that his car gets fixed, and it is expensive to get a car fixed. Remember, I once shared a video where my car had acid poured on one side, and for me to be able to renew that car, they needed me to pay £2,000, which is a lot of money. Now imagine if a car is badly damaged, if I'm to pay £2,000 for just the paint or the stripping of paint and repainting and all, how much can you pay if a car is damaged and it has to be reconstructed and repainted and everything? Obviously, it's a substantial amount of money. Now, the owner of the vehicle also needed his vehicle to be fixed. And if you don't have an insurance, you are the one who's supposed to fix the person's vehicle. So now Patrick was supposed to fix two vehicles. And he didn't have any money, because if you're still new here in UK, it's very difficult to save money. So Patrick discovered that he had no way out. And the only way for him to get out of this situation was to try and end his life. So he took medication, or he took some tablets or whatever he took, and attempted to end his life. Unfortunately or fortunately, he was not successful in ending his life. He was treated, but police need to deal with him for having a fake license and driving using a fake license. 2, the car still need to be fixed. 3, he is now jobless because he lied to the employer, and for that reason, the employer had to what? Sack him. 4, he cannot return back to his country because in his home country he sold his house to raise the £7,000 that he paid for him to be able to relocate to UK. So can you imagine a situation like that, guys? How difficult it is. And can you imagine if you're Patrick, how you'll be feeling right now? Because one, You only have 60 days to look for a new job. And obviously, if you've got a case like that, you already have a police case, you cannot be employed here in UK. Once you have tainted your record and you've got a police record, it's very difficult for you to get employment here in UK. So he cannot get employment here in UK. Which means even if he doesn't have a home in his home country, he has to return, but he also has to fix the damages that he created here in UK, and he has got no income. Do you see, guys, how difficult this situation is? Then another situation, this is an unfortunate one. This individual ended his life. He ended his life, and it's very sad. He ended his life, guys, because the thing is, when we're coming here to UK, we are thinking that it is a pot of gold. We are thinking that all our problems that we have are going to be solved. UK is not a pot of gold. You work very hard for you to be able to make ends meet here in UK. It's not all glitz and glamour. And if you're seeing all glitz and glamour, like I always tell you guys, what you see on social media is not the reality on the ground. You have to work very hard for you to be able to survive here in UK. But the unfortunate thing, I'm not saying this individual bought the COS to come here to UK, but most of the people who bought the COS to come to UK, when they are now here in the UK, they are not given shifts. You come, you land here in UK, you spend 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, no shifts, or you do 1 shift, 2 shifts, 3 shifts. I've heard so many people come to my inbox complaining that I don't know what to do now. I've been here for 3 months and I have not worked, or I've been here for 3 months and I can only work 1 shift per week or 2 shifts per week because there are no shifts. Like I told you guys previously, people are making this a money-making scheme. So this individual was working in a bank in his country. Had a very good job and a good life, he had a good house, even had his own farm and everything. But he was told that the United Kingdom is a pot of gold. When you come to UK, your life is going to change and everything. Yes, we say UK has got greener pastures, but guys, it is not all rosy here. It is not all rosy. So when this individual, let me call him Brian. So when Brian relocated to UK, he left his good job working in the bank. He left his good life and then came here to UK to work as a care assistant. When he came here to work, there were no shifts for him. He had already secured himself accommodation and everything. And obviously, if you are living in a rented apartment, you need to be paying rent on a monthly basis. Brian started using money from his savings until he exhausted that money. And after exhausting that money, he ended up having a mental breakdown. So he had a mental breakdown and he was admitted in a mental institution here in the UK. And when he was admitted in a mental institution, regardless of him being admitted there, where he was staying, the rent, they still wanted it, the bills, everything, they still wanted the rent, the bills and everything. And he kept on phoning the employer, shouting at the employer, "You're not giving me shifts," and so forth and so on, until the nurses at the mental institution confiscated his phone. And when they confiscated his phone, he went berserk and what? Ended up beating up the 2 nurses. Then the doctors made a verdict that he knew what he was doing, so he needs to be punished for his wrongdoing. What I don't understand is, if they're saying he knew what he was doing, then what was he doing in a mental institution? Because as far as I'm concerned, if you are admitted in a mental institution, it means that you do not have the capacity. It means that there's something wrong with you. So there's no way they can say you know what you're doing, because if you know what you're doing, then there's no need for you to be admitted in a mental institution. Unfortunately, this individual, they said he knew what he was doing, so he needed to be punished. So what did this mean for Brian? It meant that, one, he now has a police record. And automatically, if you have a police record, you lose your job. And to make matters worse, where he was staying, despite him being admitted in hospital, they wanted all the money for the bills. They wanted the money for rent, they wanted the money for electricity, they wanted the money for everything where he was staying, because the accommodation was rented out for him by the employer and that money was now needed. So where was he going to get the money, since he had not been working from the time that he was here in the UK? You get it, guys? So he saw that his life was doomed. He saw that there was no way out. There was no way of raising the money that was needed. There was no way of clearing his name with the police, because after coming out of the hospital, obviously they would want him, whether you're going to court to answer for the wrongdoing that you did, or you're getting a fine, or you're getting arrested for beating up staff. He was in dire straits. He didn't know what to do. So whilst he was admitted in hospital, he was said to be getting better. And one morning he asked to go and have a breath of fresh air outside. And the next thing, he was found hanging on a tree by dog walkers, which means he went and ended his life. Guys, how sad is that? It is very sad. So I don't want any of us to find ourselves in similar situations. Imagine the trauma to the family, imagine to the trauma to the children and everything, because they are saying our father is located to UK, it's going to be a better life for us and everything, but the next thing, the father is gone because of this health and care worker visa scandal. People are coming here to UK, they are paying thousands and thousands of pounds, but when they're now here in UK, they are failing. They don't have hours. People are making it a money-making scheme, because they're getting 7,000 from this one, 10,000, 8,000 from this one, and they don't care about the welfare of people when they're here, as long as they've received that cash. Even if you don't have shifts here in UK, they don't care, because they know that eventually you will give up and end up looking for work elsewhere, which is not fair, guys. I don't know why people are doing that to other people. So guys, I've had so many people reaching out to me complaining of the very same issue. They are not getting shifts, they don't know what to do. Guys, if you plunge into depression, there are people to help you out there. Reach out to people, go for counseling. Do not do something which you will regret. Make sure that you don't bottle it up. Make sure that you talk to people so that they help you solve your problems. Problems shared are problems solved. If you're not comfortable with talking to people, rather go for counseling than take drastic measures like ending your life or attempting to end your life. And guys, another thing that I'll ask you, please let us stop this thing of buying the certificate of sponsorship, because for the people who have bought a certificate of sponsorship here in UK, it's very difficult for them to approach the Home Office or approach the police and say, we are suffering here or we're not getting shifts. Why? Because they fully know at the back of their mind that they did not use proper channels to come to UK. So if you go to Home Office and you report that, oh, my employer is not giving me shifts, then your employer turns around and says, you bought the certificate of sponsorship, or the Home Office probes in and finds out that you brought the certificate of sponsorship. The next thing, they will tell you to leave the country because you fraudulently got into the country. So at the end of the day, people end up suffering and suffering and suffering, because they would have bought the certificate of sponsorship and they cannot complain to anyone because they know that what they did is wrong. And guys, let us stop this thing of using fake certificates, fake driving license, because everything has got its way of coming out. I'm sure we're all aware that there are 500 nurses who are being investigated because they are suspecting that they fraudulently entered into UK, whether they did not write the examinations or whatever. I don't know what the case is, but the thing is, just know that whatever you're doing, the walls have got eyes and ears, and the truth has got its way of coming out. You understand, guys? It might not come out today, it might not come out tomorrow, but it can come out after 2 years. So we have to be very careful when we're trying to relocate to UK. Follow proper paths. Even if I'm to say this 1,000 times, I would rather say it 1,000 times, because I don't want people losing their lives. I don't want people attempting to end their lives. I don't want people suffering here in UK. It's very painful to come and suffer in a foreign country. It's very painful. So because I don't want people to go through that situation, guys, I will talk and talk and talk. It's not easy. It's not easy to lose a loved one, you know. I'm now getting emotional. But please, guys, let us not put ourselves through this. Yes, you can follow proper channels to come to UK. Anyway, I'll talk and talk and talk, but him who has ears, let them hear.